So this is going to be the warm-up for inner circle 6. What we're going to do is we're going to start off with deep breathing, and one thing that's very important about breathing, a lot of people overlook, is breathing deep enough that you can use the muscles on the sides of your body. So a lot of times, you know, if you already know not to breathe into your chest like that, the next thing that people often do is they just work on breathing deep into the stomach, and that's great, but you also need to breathe wide. You need to be able to breathe into your sides. So the best way that I found to do this is you simply get onto your stomach, like so, and you're going to do what's called crocodile breathing. So watch what happens to my sides here as I breathe. So you notice that they start to expand a bit, as well as my low back. So the low back goes up and back down, the sides go out and back in. Very, very simple. Not a whole lot to say about it. One thing I will point out, however, is that if for some reason you're not sure or you can't feel it the way that you should, number one, this is generally speaking a good drill in order to get that sensation, because the ground is automatically acting as some tactile feedback for you. But you can also do something such as grab a shoe, put it on your low back, like this. And you'll start to notice that if you're breathing properly, you're going to feel the shoe moving up and down. So for those of you who need a little extra tactile feedback to be sure that you're doing this properly, that is the way that I would go. The floor should take care of it, but that is another option. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start warming up the head and the neck. So the head and neck are, the movements of the head and the neck are very strongly connected to the muscles of the core and of the back. So any movements that you do here are going to help wake these up so that they can work much more strongly, okay? This is the essence of that reflexive strength, helping them to work on reflex so that when you add extra, more difficult challenges, such as the front lever and planche stuff that we're about to do, it's going to be a lot easier to engage those muscles. So what we're going to do in this TV watching position, I would recommend you could start here if you want. You might find that after a while you're going to feel a little bit more than you'd like in your low back. I always do. So what I typically will do when I practice this is keep my hands forward a bit more. This also challenges the head and neck a little bit more because there's not as much stability and support from the hands here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to maintain the same breathing as in the crocodile position. Okay, so like this. Get into this position, and I'm going to look up and then down. When I look down, I'm going to look at my collarbone here. And I look up, I'm going to look toward the ceiling. Now, you don't have to actually see the ceiling. It's really more of an intention. So no need to crane your neck until you strain yourself. Okay, so up and down. Once you've done that, next one to do would be to look over each shoulder. Nice little add-on you can do to this is you can use your hand to push you over a little bit more, so you'll feel it even more on the sides of your body. Okay, next thing that we're going to do, because this program doesn't really have a lot of, or any twisting in terms of the movements that we prescribe. I want to make sure that we maintain it and that we also use it as a way of warming up the spine to be able to move safely. So the best way that I know to do that is what's called the windshield wiper. There are a couple of things about this. Number one thing, a common mistake I see is that people think that their goal is to get the knees to the floor, and it's not. Okay? Because people will do this, and you notice there's not that much rotation in my spine, versus here, where there's plenty of it. What I would rather you do is keep your shoulder blades on the ground and just go as far as you can, like this, while keeping the shoulder blades on the ground. Now if you can do it till your knees touch, that's fantastic. The first thing I would do is start off with the knees very bent. After that, if that feels pretty easy, next thing you can do is straighten the knees out of it. So you can start off here, Same thing. One quick note, make sure that your knees stay above the belt line. This is going to make sure that the twisting is happening in the correct part of your back, and not your low back. Okay? A little extended here. And if that feels pretty good, you can extend this top leg to increase the twist. And then ultimately, you can do both legs straight the entire time. Again, provided that you're keeping your knees above the belt line in order to protect the low back so it doesn't get twisted up and tweaked. Next thing we're going to do is going to serve as a good precursor to the scapular warm-up that I'm going to show you momentarily. What this is going to be, this is the commando rocking. So I'll demonstrate real quick. You're going to be on the ground like so. Rock forward, rock back. Okay, you're going to keep your eyes forward. It doesn't mean that they have to look like this, but at least forward, like so, and back. Slowly is the best way to do this, because if you go super fast, the momentum is making it so that you miss the sensation in the scapula. So if you do it very slowly, you start to get an understanding of what the scaps do when you're pressing. Okay, this is an important note, because one thing you're going to find in the program is that this is paired with the military press. So if you look at it from here, it doesn't look too related. Okay, but if you look at the same motion from here, you can see that it basically grooves the military pressing motion. So two of the reasons that I want to include this in the program, one of them, of course, is because of the scapular recruitment, as I just mentioned. The other one is that it primes all of the pressing muscles to help make it much, much easier for you to press. Probably the biggest and best thing I've done for my military press lately has been including these before I do my presses. And it just feels so much smoother, and you know exactly where the groove is. So there's no question that you're accidentally out of the groove or, you know, all over the place, which makes it much easier to build up to doing far heavier weights. So keep that in your back pocket to use. Last one that we're going to do for the overall warm-up before we get to the scapula stuff is going to be the dead bug. The dead bug, again, we're going to do these slowly. And one of the big nuances of the windshield wiper also applies to the dead bug. Okay, so in this position, you want to keep your knees as close as you can to your chest. If you look closely at what happens here to my pelvis comes off the ground a bit. And what that does, make sure that my abs, I don't know if you can hear it, automatically light up. Now if I have them here, you'll see that my abs can kind of relax, right? But that means that if your abs aren't doing the work, your back is going to do the work in the dead bug, and it's no good. So the difference is, again, here soft, here much harder. Try the difference on yourself first before you even start this so that you understand what I'm referring to, and it'll all make a lot of sense. So as far as the knee position goes, one knee is always going to stay above the belt line, all right? So tap, if you've never done these before, here's a great way to learn them. Simply touch the opposite leg. The arm and leg that are not touching are going to go down toward the floor. This also makes sure that you're not accidentally letting your leg chase after the other one. So you're going to know if this leg is moving, so you keep it in this position. Okay? Switch sides. Repeat. Okay, that was 2. And so on and so forth. Okay? Next thing that we're going to do is we want to warm up your scaps to move around quite a bit. Again, one of the things that I focus on a lot in this issue is the importance of having very mobile and very well-controlled scaps. If you think about it, one of the reasons that a lot of people get shoulder injuries from bench pressing, apart from any technique issues they might have, is that just inherently the bench press requires you to keep your scaps immobile, all right? So the shoulder ends up doing a whole lot more work than it would in a variety of other movements, which would also recruit a lot of the muscles in the upper back and surrounding the shoulder and that sort of a thing. So this is an important thing to take with you for anything. Again, my military press has improved greatly once I've started doing these different movements, not only from performance aspect, but also just my shoulders feel a lot better. And I've got a lot of colleagues that I've shown this to, a lot of students that I've had to do this, and they've said the same thing. Even if military pressing or one-arm push-ups or that sort of thing isn't exactly what their main goal is. Their shoulders feel a lot better, their posture feels a lot better, and they have a lot better upper body strength. Okay, first one we're going to do is going to be the Y, T, W, and L. So what that looks like, I'll show you from the back, and then I'm going to show you on the ground. So from this position, you put your hands up in a Y. Okay. Now this is not what we're looking for. We're looking more for this. So we're trying to pull the shoulder blades back like so. Keep the arms down. Okay. So this is the Y. This is the T. Here's a W. And this is an L. It's more like two L's. So one here and one here. Okay. Easiest way to do this, there are a lot of people who will have their students do it on a bench or on a Swiss ball or whatever. The floor works perfect. You don't really need much more than that. So you're going to get down on the ground. Nuance that's very important for this one is keep your head on the ground. If you keep your head up, it's going to change the angle that you're doing these at. You're not going to feel it as much in the upper back, but you're more likely to feel it in the low back. Not exactly what we're looking for. Okay? So I like to go forehead on the ground, and the Y. Okay, this is an acceptable Y. This is an acceptable Y at first. If you have to go low, if you have the strength, keep it up higher. So Y, T, W, L. All right. Lastly, you have two options for this next one. The important thing about your upper body health in general for the joints, as well as for your strength, is in addition to being able to control the scaps, is also stretching out chest, biceps, shoulders, things that have a tendency to get very tight. If you have gymnastics rings, there's going to be a video that you can watch that's going to show you an awesome drill that is going to help you really, really activate the scaps, show you how to use the scaps to control the movement of the arms rather than vice versa, or simply leaving the scaps out and letting the arms do all the work. If you don't have that, it's perfectly fine. There's another option for you. Okay? I typically call this the overhead stick drill with my students because the real name, shoulder dislocates, sounds kind of scary. All right? But here's what it looks like. You're going to take a dowel or just a simple broom handle, and you want to, again, open up the chest, similar to what you did in the YTWL, and you're going to bring the stick over your head. Ultimately, it will get back behind you, but you don't have to start in that position. All you have to do is work your way toward it, because that's going to give you all the benefits you're after. So again, pull the shoulders down and back, and if you can, really focus on using the scaps to pull the stick over your head. Now again, start wider than you think. If you think you're going to be able to start here and make your way over, you're sort of mistaken, all right? Second thing, keep in mind, is that in your quest to get behind you, don't shrug your shoulders and say, oh, hey, I did it. It's kind of skipping the difficult point, and it's not really all that worth it. And you're not going to get any benefits out of it, okay? So, go wide, you can have the pinkies off at the ends if you need. I'm going to show you in this position right here. So, big chest. Go back, elbows straight. If your elbows bend, it's too far. If you do find that your elbows are bending out for a certain point, you want to go a little bit before that. Let's say my elbows bend here, so I'm going to spend a little extra time here. Breathing. And letting the stick slowly work its way back. Again, you don't have to get all the way back here. That is just going to be the end point. You obviously won't be able to go much further than that. Last thing to consider. If, let's say this is pretty easy, you don't have any issues doing this and keeping your elbows straight, a way to make this a little bit more difficult and a little bit more productive is going to be doing the same thing in the YTWL position. Get on the ground here. And the same thing applies. If you find a spot at which you get stuck, break through it. And the stick will let you know how much farther you have to go, right? So give these a shot. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to email me or ask a question on the private Facebook group. I'm very happy to help you out. Coming up next, we're going to start working on the strength stuff. Stay tuned.